Good morning. I wanted to talk about the secret of contentment, which is an inner peaceful disposition. Paul is writing to the Philippians at the end of Philippians, and he writes, I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all things through him who gives me strength. Um, and, sometimes we'll see that verse on the back of a t shirt or a coffee cup. I can do all things through God who strengthens me. It's about God giving me strength. But really what Paul's talking about is the secret of contentment in that no matter what the circumstance, no matter what the situation, there's something that nobody could ever take away, which is the peace, the inner peace that he has, because he's trusted his life in God. So often, I think that's the struggle within, for everyone out there, is just that secret of contentment, because at the root of that, it's all about us, right? So if our circumstances aren't all lined up, then we struggle. But when we come and we submit our lives to God, we can have that peace no matter what the circumstance. It's not a fake Christian peace. It's not that fake Christian thing of trying to put on a smiley face even when you're going through a rough time. You can have that inner peace and mourn. You can have that inner peace and go through situations. And that's what Paul is talking about, because it's a life lived for him. I mean, he's writing this in a prison, right? And yet he's talking about joy and peace and contentment and love all throughout the book of Philippians, right? So it's something that we can learn, but we learn it in submitting our life to God, and then it's from the inside out. We experience peace, but you need community. You got to have a place where you can come and you can share whatever you're going through, but even though you're suffering and going through the things you're going, you can have that inner peace because you're trusting in something other than just yourself. The reason we struggle, the biggest reason of all that we struggle, is because we never get to that point. We're in that posture of I am my own. So you've got to figure out everything on your own. You've got to figure out evil and suffering and all that stuff, instead of knowing that we live in a dark, broken place, and that God loves you, right? No matter what we're going through, right? Then you're able to carry that peace, that contentment, that joy, even in situations that are dark. Then you're able to be there. I heard a story of it was a pastor, I think, was on a plane, and the plane actually started to go down. The mast dropped, and they panicked. One of the engine failures or something happened to where it started descending rapidly. And he said basically two things happened inside that plane. People started to pray, half the people. The other half just started saying the F-bomb, right, in total panic, right? Then the plane leveled off, and they were okay. And so then he said the plane the rest of the way was like, now I know what kind of person you are. What do you carry within? It's not a fake thing. Like, people can put on that facade and act like they're doing okay, but then they're burning up on the inside, instead of just being real and honest, and no matter what the situation you're going for. But the peace that we have comes from God, right? Until we submit our life to God, it's all about us. I am my own. But we can come to that place of submitting our life to God and experiencing His peace within. It's part of the fruit of the Spirit. We can have peace, that inner disposition of peace that comes from being His. And that's what Paul's talking about, that he's been through it. He's been through it all. He was wealthier than you can imagine. He was in a place of high esteem before he came to God, and he says it's all rubbish. He was in religion, but he never got to that point. To the surpassing glory of knowing Him, it's all rubbish, it's all dung, it's all crap. That's what he says, that his relationship with God is everything. and then everything comes from that place, then we can enjoy the life that's been given to us instead of looking around and wishing we had somebody else's life. Be content with the life that God's given you, the beauty. If you see who you are through his eyes, you'll never want someone else's life. Anyway, God bless y'all.